Hello, this is Daisy X Machina, the speculative detective that investigates all things speculative, I said that wrong, in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And this is a Get Ready With Me where I put on drag makeup to film videos later today. And yay, we have Lynette and we have Lori. I almost said Daisy, gosh. Today is one of those days. I don't know why, but I'm trying to get it together. I put on the base, and I'm not sure of the colors today. But if you saw last week, that wig, I actually did order it because I couldn't stop myself. But it hasn't arrived yet. So next week, I guess, will be the wig reveal. But anyway, how is everyone's reading going this week? I finished the Heinlein Juvenile, The Rolling Stones, about a family on the moon who builds or purchases a spaceship and retrofits a spaceship and goes gallivanting around the solar system. And not my favorite juvenile, but. This is the story that has tribbles in it. This is the story that Star Trek was worried that Heinlein would have a very strong case for infringement of copyright, or excuse me, or plagiarism. And the reason is because there is this sort of bombastic con man trader who gives sells the two twin boys something called a flat cat, a Martian creature that's sort of this fuzzy, it looks like a fuzzy little strip of fur, but it rolls up into a little ball. And of course, if you feed it too much, it starts reproducing on its own, and then it gets out of hand and gets into their food stores. I mean, obviously, whether consciously or subconsciously, whoever wrote the tribbles got it from this story. I mean, it has to be. It's too close. Cool gamers here, yay. Glad to see you. So anyway, and I know I hardly ever get physical books, but I got the City on the Edge of Forever because on my Harlan Ellison video, several people have mentioned this. This is the original story of the City on the Edge of Forever, and it cost me like $30. And I remember now why I stopped reading comic books. It's because this took me like 30 minutes to read. I wasn't trying to speed read it. You know, I was trying to enjoy all the artwork and everything on it, but it was just really easy to fly through. So I'm trying to see, if there's a price for retail. I'm guessing this originally sold for like $20 or something, or maybe less, but you don't get the bang for your buck on getting a novel. Like a $30 novel would take me hopefully like a week or two to read. This took me 30 minutes. So, and there's a lot of filler. Like at the end here, this isn't part of the story. This is sort of like a bonus thing. Because this story was only like a 1 hour Star Trek episode, but it's only 4 comic books, which you can read in a snap. So anyway, it was fun to read the difference between the Ellison script and the what aired on Star Trek. And I can see why people prefer the original script. There are some things I preferred in the broadcast. I kind of liked the Guardians just being sort of the rune with the voice. Whereas here, I don't know if you can see it, they're like these sort of spooky looking men, creatures that appear on the side of a mountain. There's a lot more racism. It deals a lot more, I guess this was written in the 60s, for Asian Americans, specifically Chinese, that Spock is mistaken for in the 1920s. So it dealt more with that. I don't know if I was a big fan of that. There was, Spock was a little too emotional for my taste. And what else? What else differences? This had a much more emotional impact at the end, which is what I think people prefer about this one. But I don't know, it's interesting. I'm going to do a video on the comparison, and I may give this to a friend of mine who's a Star Trek collector. But I mean, if you're a real collector, you get the original comics, which is quite a bit more than $30, but whatever. Mr. R is here. Thank you for joining us. Haven't seen you in a while. And like I said, I hope everyone else is doing, reading is going okay. Let me know. I did pick up the next and final Heinlein Juvenile, which is To the Stars. And I've just started it. Maybe I'm the fourth of the way through it. But it's interesting because it's the first time, that's not true. But Heinlein deals with like telepathy. In the Rolling Stones, the youngest child maybe was telepathic because he was really good at chess at 4 years old. But anyway, this one is like full-blown plot based on telepathy, which I thought was kind of interesting. And it's once again about twins, but the twins have, a certain percentage of twins have this latent telepathy that doesn't or isn't confined by Einsteinian physics. So no matter how many light years away they are, they can instantaneously communicate with each other, which is why they're really good to split apart in space exploration. So anyway, interesting. Okay, let me start on some makeup. I'm thinking about two colors, thinking of orange and purple again. So I guess let's go ahead and do that. Let's do orange and purple. Actually, I'll do like red to orange to purple. Let's see, what brush should I use? It says. Read the second Houseboat book. They should have just been published as one story. Now, tell me, Lynette, was that a continuation of the first Houseboat, where the women take abscond with the ship? Because I was kind of curious about that myself. Oh, I may release my Banksian video this week. Simply because I also have in the can a video about the first 6 months of Shelve It or Shove It. But I realized, number one, I'm wearing the same wig as the mid-year Freakout Tag video, which I just released. And I'm talking about a lot of the same books, like the book that wouldn't burn and the Moorcock book. So, and I am kind of lazy. Like if I write a little script about one thing, I'll think, oh, I'm talking about this again. Let me just look to see what I did there. So I feel like it's repeating a lot. So I'm thinking, well, if I wait a couple weeks, maybe no one will notice. But I don't want to release them back to back. So I may just go ahead and do a Banksian, the Banksian video. It's either that or what I'm going to film today, which I am going to do the 10 little known facts of Asimov. And I think I'd like to continue that series, but I think I will limit it to just authors who aren't around anymore. I would just feel weird doing like a living author. Not that they'd find my channel, but okay, so I have some red lines, and let me do the purple in the center. Weird brush to use, but finished Once Upon a Wardrobe. Oh, about C.S. Lewis's life. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like I knew more at some time because I looked him up. But I know, obviously, he was a Christian writer, screw tape letters, that sort of thing. But I find it interesting he was in the same, was it the Inkwell, or not the Inkwell, the Inklings with Tolkien. Okay, the houseboat is a continuation of the story. Okay. Yeah, why not publish them together? Oh, my sound problems. No, it's probably me. I'll be honest, the microphone I'm using really is meant to be closer. What can I do? Is it better now? Actually, let me click all this off. Okay, so now I don't have any of the StreamYard little things to mess with the sound. So oh, the best Guy Gavriel K book, preferably a standalone. Tigana, I think. Is that a standalone? Tigana is, I think, a good one to start with, which I'm pretty sure is a standalone. Really excellent writer, really literary. Oh, that's interesting. Lewis was an atheist until Tolkien talked him into Christianity. I did not know that. Okay, also let me know if my sound's any better. I know it would be better if I like speak into the microphone, but it's hard to do when I'm putting on makeup. Okay. And I'm just adding purple. Oh, I took this down way low. Okay. K fits into. Oh, I didn't realize he was Canadian. So is I think I told you, Lisette Sambury, but it's young adult. She's young adult. No, I have not ever made a video. Hey, Rico, thank you for joining us. I'm not sure who Neil Asher is. Neil Asher. Tell me more about Neil Asher. I don't recognize the name. And anyone, please jump in with any Neil Asher information. Okay. He wrote the Polity series, kind of like an off-brand version of Ian Banks' Culture. I love Ian Banks' Culture novels. I like it. He's got good style. Tolkien was a little upset Lewis became Anglican rather than Catholic. They're AI oriented. His AIs always seem to have the demeanor of overworked public servants. It's kind of funny because Anglican and Catholic really isn't that different, except for the Pope. There's no Pope. But sometimes in religion, the little differences make the big controversies. Okay. So it's red to orange to purple. Is an Anglican a form of Protestantism, I guess? The Invisible Orientation, which is about asexuality, the book was a little repetitive. Interesting. I assume that's nonfiction. Anyway, Rico, Anglican, if you've heard of Henry VIII, Anglican is the Church of England that broke off from the Catholic Church because they wouldn't let Henry VIII get a divorce. So that's what he found. He broke away from the Catholics, founded the Church of England, but it's called Anglican because it also has spreads to other countries, not just Church of England. Like in the United States, it's called Episcopalian. So okay. Right, it's Henry's church. Yeah, I actually grew up Episcopalian, so. But doctrine-wise, and a lot of like the rituals or whatever, it is kind of similar to a Catholic for the masses and whatnot. Okay. I don't know what it's called in Australia. Maybe just Anglican. Okay. Audio. Trying to get a better blend with the red. Was christened Church of England as a baby, even though I was never a believer. It is sort of a Catholic like. So I guess it is called Church of England in um, Down Under, which I guess makes sense because you still have the Queen. It's Anglican now in Australia. It used to be Church of. Okay, good to know. Interesting. Can you even see that? Oof, I went way down. Oh, well. Okay, so okay, that was a bad idea. swear I spend a lot of work blending this that you can't even see it on camera. Okay. Yay, that's gonna spin. The Dying Earth by Jack Vance. Yeah, that's another one of those, I would call it a fix-up novel, where it's a collection of stories that just stitched together in his Dying Earth universe. I would like to lighten this orange up at the edges. For me, I think Vance at his best was is similar to Gene Wolfe. Personally, I prefer Gene Wolfe, but Vance certainly is the classic writer, more of a classic writer. Okay, well, I think I need some black. Evie is here, yay! What have y'all been reading? Thank you, Rika. Really been enjoying your videos and reviews of different books. Definitely going to start reading some of the ones you recommend. Thanks for the content. You are more than welcome. Evie, I've been reading the Heinlein Juveniles. I'm on my last one. I picked up the graphic novel of Harlan Ellison's original, The City on the Edge of Forever. And that's pretty much where I am right now. Okay. Just started registering to the Barker and Llewellyn series by Will Thomas, Victorian Era Mysteries. Wow, got through the first 11. Wow, how many are there? 11 books. I'm in the last 100. Don't know that. Oh, 100 page. Oh, Daughter of the Empire. That's actually my favorite of the Rift War novels that Feist did. But of course, it wasn't just Feist. It was Feist and Jenny Wirtz. And I have a feeling that Jenny Wirtz may be a better writer on the prose level because she did some books on her own that didn't do as well as Daughter of the Empire. But oh, I forget. It's about this assassin, Night Blood or something. But anyway, they're like anti-hero books that are pretty good. Bought 3 books, but the 3 bought out since the pandemic have not been available for Australian as Kindle or audiobooks. Oh, so you have to order them overseas. Ew. Enjoy it more than you expected. I think they're good books. There's Daughter of the Empire trilogy. Been registering, not registering. Okay, so okay, so I think these eyes are. That's good enough. Good enough. Oh, re-listening. That's what you're saying. I am planning to do the Asimov 10 little known facts about Isaac Asimov. Okay. I didn't think about what I'm going to do for a cut crease. Should I just do silver? Why don't... Why don't I do sort of an orange, because see orange and because I can't really I covered up the orange a lot. Okay, that's what we'll do. Criminally bought out a video, Why I Don't Read Sci-Fi by Michael Vaughn, answered it with a video, Why I Read Sci-Fi. Oh, I like that. I have to check that out. Criminally isn't a fan of world building. Okay. Well, not every genre is for everyone. Oh, I found a new channel. It's called like Locus Magazine or something. It's a real small channel, and I don't think it's associated with Locus Magazine, but you know, I forgot to do eyeliner first, but I'm just gonna press forward. Oh, anyway, and the channel Locus Reader, or Locus Award, Locus Magazine, reminded me that there is such a thing called the Locus Awards, which is awarded by Locus Magazine, but anyone can vote. But it's their subscribers, the vote is weighted like twice as much as anyone else that votes. So it is a popularity contest, like the Hugos. But hold on for a sec. Let me bring it up. Because I had saved it. That's better. Okay, so this is 2023's winners. What I like about it is in 1980, they, instead of best novel, they broke it apart. So there's best sci-fi novel, best fantasy novel, and best horror novel. So it has the categories for each: science fiction, fantasy, and horror, which I like a lot better than just sort of mixing them all up. But I think it's interesting that the winner of sci-fi was the Kaiju Preservation Society, which I'm surprised, but I know a lot of people like Scalzi. And then fantasy novel was Babel. I was saying last year, oh, Babel should win all the awards, but it did win the Nebula, but it was completely frozen out of the Hugos, which is interesting. And I know last week, Fit to Be Read had this conspiracy that Tor weights, somehow is able to weight the number of voters for Tor books. And Babel was Harper, not Tor. It's interesting. I don't know about that. And the horror novel was T. Kingfisher's What Moves the Dead. And the T. Kingfisher book I was interested in reading is Nettle and Bone, which I thought was a horror, but it's listed under fantasy. But like a lot of these books can go sort of are cross genres and they have to just decide. Like None of the Ninth could easily be sci-fi, could easily be horror. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting. But I do think that Babel should have at least been nominated for Best Novel in the Hugos. I don't know why they wasn't even a nomination. Because obviously, if it was, that would have been my pick. Because that was my best book of last year. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to start with this light orange. Oh, come on, stick. Okay. Darker. For the primer, I should have used colored primer, but oh well. It's going to be more of a subtle look than I was expecting. Okay, so that's something. I don't know what I just did. Okay. Romance is a genre that's definitely not for me. Me either. And I've tried. I mean, there's some fantasy romance that I enjoyed where the romance is sort of the B plot. Um, but for strict romance genre, even like the LGBT romance books, um, I just can't, I just find them frustrating. And it's weird because I don't mind a romance movie. I don't mind like a rom com. And I'm actually really looking forward. They're doing Red, White, and Royal Blue as a movie, and I'm really excited to see that. But I didn't like the book that much. So this powder is sticking to my face more than I thought. Kitty Cat Kill Sat, which is about a cat left behind on a space station who has to keep things working. I kind of like that. Do you like Sea of Tranquility? I haven't read it. I'm not big into dystopian novels or post-apocalyptic, whatever that subgenre is. Eyes of the Void was good, but I like Tarkovsky's other Children of Time series better. That's very interesting. I want to read more Tarkovsky because the only thing I've read is the Final Architecture, which I really liked. But a lot of people seem to really prefer Children of Time. Oh, she's another Canadian. Okay. New Station 11. Oh, I was thinking of the other Muir Lafferty Station Eternity, which was fun. I like Station Eternity. Okay. Her books have a great tone. The one nominated had a great bittersweetness to it. Oh, interesting, Rico. Yeah, I love, you guys turned me on to Flavia de Luz because normally I just stick with speculative, but I love the voice. I love the character. So much fun. Didn't read the winner because the title kind of threw me. Which winner? Are you talking about Kaiju Preservation? You have to read at least 4 books by different Canadian authors. I really didn't get post-apocalyptic vibe to that book. It was certainly a component, but not central to the story. Okay, that's interesting to know. Okay, so I need to do something with eyeliner real quick. Okay. Biography of Jules Verne to read next month. I know nothing about his life. Either do I. I didn't even know that. I didn't know he was shot by his nephew. Yipes. Oh, I need water. I'll be right back. I need water. Because I have a water-based chroma cake to really go in with the black. Interesting. I still am really curious about that book about Heinlein, Asimov, Campbell. I think it's mostly about Campbell. It's about the golden age of science fiction, and I think L. Ron Hubbard, which people only really know now about Scientology, but he was a very prolific sci-fi writer. If I really want to get in trouble, I'll do 10 little known facts about L. Ron Hubbard, but I think I'd be too afraid the Scientologists would come after me. Because there's wild rumors about Hubbard. Like he experimented with Aleister Crowley teachings, that type of thing. Don't think you've ever read any L. Ron Hubbard. Never read his books, but I've heard from other readers they don't tend to hold up against his contemporaries. I might have read more short stories because he's also was the founder of Writers of the Future. But anyway, I read his, this was back in the 70s or 80s. I read the first book in his Battlefield Earth series, which I didn't continue with because even at that time, I don't know, there's like a dozen books in the series. And it definitely had a quality of sort of classic sci-fi from the 50s that I've read before. It sort of had that. The prose was similar, and it was well written. Insofar as the plot moved forward, the characters were engaging. There was lots of action. Um, the only thing was the story itself didn't obviously appeal to me enough to keep reading in this massive series. So, what am I saying? For my very limited exposure to his writings, I think on a prose level, he was um, quite accomplished and was up there with anyone else of his contemporaries. Just on the story level, I just don't, he just wasn't for me. You know, it's a lot of aliens invade Earth and take over humankind, but our hero, who is a young man, sort of stands up to them and rises from adversity. As I recall, there wasn't much nuance or areas of gray. It was, and I don't know enough about Scientology to be able to recognize if any of his teachings were embedded in the storytelling. Okay. I would not like the Scientology crowd to come after me. I think there is probably a good reason that Nicole Kidman and Katie Holmes, yep, exactly, have kept their mouth shut. Horatio Algernon in Space. Have you read any Murray Lentz? No, I haven't. I don't know that name. Do you mean Horatio Algier, Rico? Because that's definitely Heinlein's jam. Okay, I'm going to. Yes, it's flowers for Algernon, Horatio Algier. I don't know if I would say that the one book I read by Hubbard was in that Horatio Algier um, inspired plot. Because that's usually a young man rising up through society to sort of prove himself, which Heinlein was really known for. Okay. I'm still not done with the eyes. It still needs a little bit of work. Murray Leinster was one of the lesser classic sci-fi authors. Some of his books are unscripted. Oh, okay. You know who I'm interested in as classic authors? Because there are so very few women authors in the classic period, but and I can't recall reading anything except maybe a short story by Leigh Bratton. Kind of curious to read more of her. I'm just going to have to bring this all the way out. Like for some reason, I can't get into Andre Norton, even though I know she's one of the earlier established female science fiction authors. And I just tried reading one of her early juvenile books that she's known for. She has an award, the Andre Norton Award. And it reminded me, if you like Alexander, not Dumas, he wrote Black Cauldron, Peer Dain, that series. It reminded me of that. But I just couldn't get into it. I wish I could get into more of Andre Norton, but I think the first thing I ever read by her was the Witch World because I really liked the concept of Witch World. But I just don't think her writing style just is for me, which is just prove that not everything is for everyone. Okay, guys, I think I'm about done with the eyes. Okay. Who wrote the, you guys have me thinking about classic sci-fi. Who wrote the one about the Voyage of the Space Beagle? Or no, Derynyi, Derynyi. Think. Anyway, it's about these group of aliens who have sort of this exoskeleton, like a lobster or something, and they're religious zealots, and their religion tells them that they have to go out, and whenever they find another sentient race, since they are sort of the holy perfection of what a sentient race should look like, they do these horrific plastic surgeries to try to get aliens like humans to look like them. But that's a good one. Okay. I think I need more. Need more blush. Okay, I'm just going to do the lips now. I think we're at that time. Plan to read 12 classic sci-fi books this year, but have only read 5. That's not a metaphor for imperialism. Yeah. Yeah. Although, I mean, at the time it was written, I'm sure it was more the target was organized religion than imperialism, but it works for that too. Where's that little lip brush I like? There it is. I don't know the book. Let me look it up quick. I think it's Derynyi. No, it's not Derynyi. It's that's Catherine Kurtz. It definitely wasn't Catherine Kurtz. I'm going to find it because I know where I can find it. Was it Demu? Okay, it might not be a classic sci-fi. I'm thinking of the Demu trilogy by F.M. Busby. Okay. Okay, anyway. I need to do the lips. Just had this brush in my hand. Okay. In my younger days, my sci-fi reading was restricted to what was available in the library or in secondhand bookstores. So my reading was all over the place. I remember reading Doc Smith, but I don't think I would like him now. Oh, E. Doc Smith? Yeah, I can't actually. I know I must have read something by him, but I can't. Did he write Voyage of the Space Beagle? Why is that in my mind? Okay, let's try this. It's really dark red, I think. It's kind of purple. Of course, a good question is, what constitutes classic sci-fi? that before 1960, before 1970. I think if you're talking about the golden age, the so-called golden age, it's anything to like 35 to 50 or something. I'm sure that's on Wikipedia or something. Okay, what I think I want. This could almost be black lipstick, huh? What I think I want. Oh, actually, I'm going to try. Like the dark red glitter I have over here, I'm going to try that. Okay, I don't know about these lips. They're shiny, I guess. See if I have like a red shimmer I can. That didn't do anything. Maybe a little pink. Okay, well, we're just going to go with this. Whatever this is, we're going with it. E. Doc Smith has a very story of the week aesthetic. Some of Heinlein's short stories have that too. Yeah, this is the era of the pulp magazines. Skylark or Space. Can imagine Doc Smith stories being adapted to 1940s sci-fi TV shows. Well, Heinlein's Space Cadet became a TV show. Pre-Golden Age. Well, Wells, Verne, Frankenstein. Those are actually pre-Golden Age. Maybe some Burroughs. Maybe that's a little iffy. I mean, Gulliver's Travel is sci-fi. Now, there's a specific period called the Golden Age of sci-fi. It's just when it became in a genre. Not that there weren't science fiction stories before that, but it's just like when publishing really embraced it as its own genre. Oh, Lensman, yeah. Yeah. Find ACC and Heinlein much more compelling than E. Smith. Oh, Arthur C. Clarke. Did Clarke really write that type of short story, though? Sort of that episodic feel to them. Oh, anything before 1980, a classic. Science was just not as well developed when E. Smith was writing. It feels antique now. He's considered more horror, but women Smith's books were there to make them cups of coffee. Yeah, a lot of them like that. Okay, well, there's a lot of great books pre-1980. I don't know what I did with these lips. They're ridiculous. Maybe not so much on camera. Let me put some gloss on. Maybe that will fix it. But in person, they look very strange. You know what I started doing for a video? I didn't finish doing it. I wanted to do the 3 classic Heinlein, not Heinlein, Charlton Heston movies from the 70s. But then as I was researching it, I was thinking about, well, I really should read the books they were based off of. Because the only one I read was the Harry Harrison, Make Room for Soylent Green. But I was reading the plot on Wikipedia of the Planet of the Apes original novel, which is a French novel from the 60s, written by the guy that wrote, I believe, The Bridge Over River Kwai, which became the famous movie. And the plot seemed really, I mean, it was a lot different than the movie, and it seemed really intriguing. Sort of like that old-fashioned sci-fi story with a twist. And also, I Am Legend, which was the Omega Man. The original plot to that sounded really good too. So those are some to keep in mind. Chaz, 1979 was the cutoff for classic vintage. That was the year I turned 21. Maybe I should make it 1976, the year you became an adult. Are you talking about... Okay, you're talking about the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, that could be the author. And also during that time, the books weren't quite as long as they are now. Although I keep hearing that smaller books are making a comeback, or shorter books. Okay. I need to get a move on. We're already 90 minutes. Yeah, I'm reading what you're writing, just trying to dry my... Well, I think the movie had a really big... Well, when I mean, how old was I when I saw it? But it had a big impact on me seeing the Statue of Liberty. Okay. Yeah, give that one a try, Lynette. I bet you can find it. Oh, hey, Jackie. It's my sister, Jackie. Because I bet you can find that a lot of places. I mean, you'd think it wouldn't be hard to find. Okay, so I think this is the look. So let me throw on some accessories. But also look up the I Am Legend. Because the ending is totally different than what Hollywood brought you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, because my new wig hasn't arrived, I thought I would do this Dolly Parton wig that looks like a white afro. So I haven't worn it in a while. Need some hairspray, but we can do that later. Oh, you have read it. He was a monster. Yeah, because apparently they the Will Smith movie where they remade the Omega Man based on I Am Legend, they tried to do the ending like the original book, but apparently their test audiences did not like did not like Will Smith being the monster, so they changed it. But it's such a better ending, which makes the title make sense. Because now the humans are the legendary monsters that that are spoken of. The whole point of I Am Legend, I am the monster. I am the new Dracula. Okay, anyway. Okay. So this is the final look. We did the orange with the purple. This side this side looks better for some reason. What did I do up here? I don't know. And sort of this white wig with some red jewelry. So that's it. Okay, guys. What's this? Hello, Dolly. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining me. I will be here next week. I will not be here the week following, but I hope to see you next week. And as usual, may all the books you read be blessed.